The diner was quiet, the kind of place where nothing ever happened, until the door swung open and trouble walked in. A biker spotted an old man sitting alone, steadying his coffee cup with hands that had seen a lifetime of battles. Without warning, the biker struck him across the face. Gasps filled the room. The veteran stayed calm, but the silence was unbearable. No one dared to move, no one dared to speak. What the biker didn't know was who the old man's son was, and when he walked in moments later, nothing inside that diner would ever be the same. For years, the veteran had been a quiet presence at the corner table by the window. At 81, his body showed the weight of time, but his dignity remained untouched. Every Thursday, he came to the diner for black coffee and pie, a small ritual, a reminder that life still had its simple joys. To most, he was just another old man. To a few, he was a living reminder of service, discipline, and sacrifice. That evening felt like any other. The neon lights hummed, the waitress refilled his cup, and conversations buzzed in the background. He had no reason to believe this would be the last calm meal he'd share there. Then the sound of engines shattered the peace. A group of bikers rolled into the lot, their laughter sharp enough to rattle the windows. When they entered, the air shifted. Customers lowered their heads, hoping to disappear behind their plates. The bikers claimed the space with arrogance, but one in particular fixed his gaze on the old man. At first, it was only a smirk, a nudge to his friends. But in that diner, tension spread like fire. And when the biker rose from his seat, boots pounding the floor, a silent question hung in the air. Would anyone dare to stop what was coming? The biker swaggered to the veteran's table, towering over him with a crooked grin. He mocked the old man's frail hands, his slow movements, even the medals pinned discreetly to his jacket. The veteran stayed silent, his eyes fixed on his coffee, refusing to rise to the bait. But sometimes silence infuriates more than any reply. With a sudden strike, the biker slapped him across the face. The crack echoed through the diner like a gunshot. Gasps rippled, forks clattered against plates, and conversations died instantly. The veteran turned with the blow but didn't flinch. His calmness unsettled the biker, because fear never appeared in those steady eyes. The room froze. Some wanted to stand, but fear kept them anchored. The biker sneered, convinced he had broken the spirit of an old man. But the truth was far different. Unnoticed, a shadow fell across the doorway. Footsteps entered, measured, firm, impossible to ignore. A young man in uniform stepped into the diner. His eyes locked on the scene at the window, and in that moment, the biker realized this wasn't just a random old man he had picked. The son moved closer, his silence louder than any threat. And just as the biker tried to smirk again, the door opened once more. Two more soldiers walked in, brothers in arms. The room shifted. Customers who had shrunk back now leaned forward, watching history turn on its head. The biker's laughter vanished, and though he didn't yet know it, his mistake had grown far bigger than a single slap. The son stopped inches from the biker, his uniform pressed, his presence unshakable. He didn't shout, didn't threaten. He simply stood there, the weight of his silence speaking louder than fists ever could. Behind him, the soldiers spread out, their calm composure enough to choke the room with tension. The biker tried to cover his unease with bravado. "What? Daddy's little soldier here to play hero?" he jeered. But the words fell flat. Even his friends shifted uncomfortably in their seats. The son didn't blink. His eyes held something the biker couldn't match: discipline, courage, and a quiet fury born from loyalty. For the first time, the biker looked uncertain. His smirk wavered, his swagger faded. The veteran sat tall, his cheek still red from the slap, but his dignity untouched. He had endured the insult, but now his son, and the brotherhood behind him, stood as a wall the biker could not push through. The silence grew heavy. The biker's arrogance, once loud, was now swallowed by the quiet power in front of him. He realized then that he hadn't just picked on an old man. He had challenged an entire legacy of service and sacrifice, and it was a fight he could never win. The biker backed away, muttering, his pride collapsing in on itself. His friends avoided his eyes, their earlier laughter silenced by shame. With no fight left to pick, he turned and stormed out, the engines of their motorcycles fading into the night. Inside the diner, relief spread like sunlight breaking through clouds. Strangers exchanged glances of quiet respect. No one cheered, no one clapped, because some moments don't need noise. They demand silence. The veteran sat still, lifting his coffee cup once more as though reclaiming the peace that had been stolen from him. His son slid into the booth across from him, steady hand on the table, no words needed. For a brief moment, it was just father and son, two generations bound by loyalty and sacrifice. But for everyone else, the message was unforgettable. Disrespect may be loud, but honor always speaks louder. The biker thought strength came from intimidation. He was wrong. True strength comes from standing, silently if you must, for what is right. And the question remains, how many more times must dignity be tested before people learn respect? Perhaps the real battle isn't waiting for an army to arrive. It's choosing, each day, to honor those who've already fought enough.